Hi everybody, this is SAAD for the SAAD Truth. You may hear in the background some wind gusts. There's some incredible wind happening outside the home. And so apologies if it distracts you in any way. This is my second clip of the day because the tsunami of idiocy never sleeps. Earlier today I posted an article from Campus Reform whereby they were pointing to a course that is being offered at Washington State University on how to, decolonize your mind from all the patriarchal, sexist, Western scientific, quote, truths. And so what I decided to do is go back to that article from Campus Reform and actually click on the link of the professor who is teaching the course and also the course outline. So let me just here point to the professor. Her name is Dr. Jennifer Barkley. She is an assistant professor, as I said, at Washington State University in the Department of Critical Culture, Gender, and Race Studies, of course. And she is an associate editor for Review of Disability Studies. So she's gotten all of those important metrics for the victimology poker game. The course is titled Gender, Culture, and Science, and I'm reading now from the actual course syllabus. She starts off with a quote from none other than Simone de Beauvoir, who, by the way, we have at my university an institute named after. It's called the Simone de Beauvoir Institute. So here we go. Here's the quote that starts us off, that sets the tone for the course. Representation of the world, like the world itself, is the work of men. They describe it from their own point of view, which they confuse with the truth. So apparently, whatever men describe in no way intersects in a Venn diagram with the truth, because of course they're not objective in the manner by which they describe the world. All right, here we go. Let's go to the actual description of the course. I'll just read it to you and interject once in a while. I should start off by saying that the course, of course, is laced with postmodernist thinking, most fundamentally of which is the idea that what's objectivity? Who knows what objectivity is? There's always bias, which is a fundamental tenet of postmodernism. Postmodernism says that there are no objective truths other than the one objective truth, that there are no objective truths. And no amount of huffing and puffing from colleagues who write to me indignant that I'm, quote, misunderstanding postmodernism is going to change that fact. That's a central feature of postmodernism, and as I'll show you right here. So she starts off, how objective is objectivity? There you go. That sets the tone. Who determines, quote, the facts, and what social, cultural, economic, and political forces influence those who do? Are fields like science, technology, engineering, and medicine always completely objective and free of any kind of bias? These kinds of questions lay at the heart of this course as it maps the rise of Western science. The fact that it took place in the West doesn't mean that it's called Western science. There is no Western science and indigenous science and extremely good-looking Lebanese Jews science. There's only science. The fact that it is the West, given the freedoms that are enshrined within the Enlightenment and the historical period thereafter, the scientific method flourished in the West, but it's not called Western science in that it competes with other ways of knowing. There's only one game in town, and it's called the scientific method. So these kinds of questions lay at the heart of this course as it maps the rise of Western science and the ways that ideas about gender, race, ethnicity, class, sexuality, and nationality shape the production of knowledge, including scientific discourses, professional medicine, technological developments, and many other seemingly, quote, objective topics. The influence of these socially constructed categories. Yes, because the elements in the periodic table, socially constructed. Testosterone, socially constructed. Biology, socially constructed. All the knowledge in medicine, in differential equations, in the distribution of prime numbers in number theory, the thing that allows these idiots to go to a conference on a plane using theories of physics, that's all socially constructed, because there's an alternate way to travel to those conferences using non-Western science. So the influence of these socially constructed categories is felt today in the underrepresentation of women, minorities, and persons with disabilities in STEM fields and medicine, as well as in the erasure of their many contributions to these fields throughout history. So not only there is no such, Western science is just one of many ways of knowing. There are other equal, if not superior, ways of knowing. Various marginalized groups have been forced to not participate in this form of knowing known as Western science. And when they did participate, their contributions were erased. Through lectures, thought-provoking readings, in-class discussions, documentaries, and films, students will grapple with these slippery questions in a global, national, and historical context. We will also consider how solutions to these deeply embedded biases and limitations are articulated in educational policies and representations of women and minorities in the sciences in film and media. Well, the solutions are, of course, that we have to have equality of outcome. It's unfair that most number theorists have been men. It's unfair that the top scientists that you could think of or philosophers have been men. And if they've been men, to the extent that they might have been cis-normative men, that's unfair. So we need to have an equal number of, transgendered, indigenous, non-gender, other kin folks as a official policy. Otherwise, we can't really trust the science that we call science, because it is obviously biased. This is the kind of cancer that not only is an affront to human dignity, it's an affront to the most fundamental reason that universities exist, which is to seek truth. If you argue that truth doesn't exist in any meaningful form, or to the extent that some folks think it exists and they're called Western scientists, but they are polluted because of their biases, you are an intellectual terrorist. That's what you are, right? Instead of blowing up buildings or people, you blow up the truth. Now, of course, in a free society, intellectual terrorists have a right to exist. You're allowed to get up on a podium and say the Holocaust never happened. At least I support your right to do that, even though I'm Jewish and I think it's grotesque for you to say that. So intellectual terrorists have a right to exist, but I'm not sure that then they have the right to be called professors who are equal pursuers of the truth as, those dirty Western scientists. Have a good day, everybody. Slowly we inch to the abyss of infinite lunacy. If you don't get up and participate in the battle, you are complicit via your apathy. Cheers.